Alright, so let's maybe just jump back into left view here. Okay. Let's maybe start it with a plane. So we'll go back into the create panel here. Let's change this back to standard primitives, and let's grab a plane here and drag it out from, say, about here all the way over to the back. Okay, and we don't really need to have any horizontal segments, so let's get rid of those by right-clicking the spinner, and let's also throw a blue shader on there. All right, we're going to need to up the side count here on the width sags quite a bit. And I think that should probably be about what we're looking for here. Okay, so let's do like 580 on the length, and let's do 955 on the width, with one length segment and 24 width segments there. Okay, so now we can collapse the editable poly. And to get the corrugated look, we'll go into the top view. Let's just move this over to the outside a bit here so we can see it. And we'll just go into vertex here and make sure you have ignore back facing off again. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just select every second set of verts starting one in from the end. Okay, so just drag through those, hold control, and just select every second set all the way to the back. Okay, and it should end one in from the other end as well. Okay, so what we'll do here is just move these over a little bit, and it'll give us the look we want. Maybe something like that. Okay, that should work fine. So let's move it in here. Okay, I'm going to line it up pretty much around this point for now, and we can adjust it later if we need to. Okay, let me get rid of these blueprints. I think it's having a little bit of a hard time capturing this. So let's just grab these three pieces, we'll go into isolation mode again. Okay, we need to chamfer these edges down. So let's go back to edge, select all the vertical edges, and we'll deselect each of the end edges. Okay, and let's just zoom in here a bit, and we'll just chamfer these down to soften it up. And let's maybe do a double on it just so it's a little bit more smooth. Let's maybe do about 1.5 or so. We'll hit apply, and we'll bring the second one down until the edges are evenly spaced. About 0.7 should be good. Okay, and that's virtually all the work we need to do on the sides. Let's just maybe push it a little bit here in the top view. All right, so we'll push it over to the outside edge and maybe line it up right here with this edge, so it's a little bit closer to the outside. Okay, and I think we'll just leave it sitting right on top here. If you want to, you could actually punch this bottom piece in so this is kind of tucked in behind the lip, which is the way it would actually be, but for the sake of the tutorial, I think I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, and we also need to make it a little bit taller here. Alright, so we'll go into left view, back in vertex, grab those top verts, and we'll just push it up a little bit so it's inside that top piece, and we'll do the same with the bottom, just bring it down a little bit. Okay. Alright, so what we'll do here is just mirror this over. So I'm just going to mirror it on the spot as a copy on the X. And we'll just pull this over and line it up the same way on the other side. Like that. And we'll use this a clone of this piece to do the end here behind the cab. Alright, so let's just go to rotate, make sure you have your angle snaps on, and we'll just hold down shift and rotate this 90 degrees as a copy. Alright, now let's maybe just zero out the x-axis here first so it's in the center, and we'll move it up to the outside edge here. Okay, just like that maybe. And we're going to need to scale it slightly here to make it fit, so let's just maybe cut off the last couple of sections here. Alright, so I'm going to go to vertex and grab these verts here on each side, and we'll delete those out so it's a little bit shorter. And we want to have this piece here over in this area so we can cover the corner with another piece, which we'll do in a minute. So let's just scale it slightly on the x-axis in. Okay, and it doesn't need to be a lot, just enough to tuck it in here behind these edges. Okay, so we'll see how that looks. Okay, I think that should work fine. We're going to leave the back open there because that's where the doors will be. So now we need to make a piece that will kind of cover the edge between these two side pieces. Alright, so let's maybe zoom in here on the top left corner in the top view. And to do this corner piece, let's maybe use a box for this. Alright, so go back into the gray panel, grab a box, and let's maybe drag it out right here where these edges cross. Okay, just like that, and we'll bring it over to about this inside corner here. And we'll just give it a little bit of height here. Okay, so a pretty simple shape this is going to be. All right, and let's maybe chamfer down the front edge here just so we get some roundness on it. So let's convert this box to edit poly, and don't worry about the size or the height of it, we can fix that later. Let's go into edge and let's just grab the 4 vertical edges, and in the top view I'm just going to deselect the 3, so we just have this corner here selected. Okay, and we'll just give this maybe a chamfer to round it out a little bit more. Okay, so let's open up chamfer there, we'll take it up a little bit. And I don't want it to be too rounded over, so let's do maybe like 3.5 for starters. We'll hit apply to that, and we'll just roll the second one here by taking the amount down. And that looks fine, we'll do about 1.4. Okay, I don't really think we need to give it a triple. We could probably put some smoothing groups on this later on to smooth it out. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's maybe get rid of the top and bottom polygons, which we don't need. And let's also maybe just get rid of these 2 back ones as well. Okay, so we just have the front faces here rounded over. And let's go into edge, and I'm just going to grab one of the vertical edges here. And we'll just shift drag this back on the Y to kind of extrude that out. Okay, something like that. And let's also extrude it in a bit. Okay, and we'll do a similar thing over here on this edge. Let's shift drag that in on the X, about the same distance as we have up here, and push it in a bit. Okay, let's actually take that right up to the edge there, and we'll smooth these verts over a bit. Okay, so they're touching up with the side pieces. Okay, I think that should work fine. Let's maybe give these inner edges a little bit of a chamfer as well. Okay, so we'll grab the 2 outside edges there on each side, and just give them a chamfer. And we'll do about 0.3 or 0.4, should be good. Okay, and back in the top view here, let's just trim this up a bit. Okay, I just don't want to have any of this piece sticking out in the front there. So let's maybe just slice it off, and we'll just clean it up a little bit quickly here. Let's maybe do a quick slice, and we'll just cut that, say right about here, across, and then go to vertex, and you can see that I added the verts there, so we can just delete these end ones now. And if you want to, you can just move this back and kind of line it up with the edge there to make it a little bit more clean. Do the same thing with the side piece. Let's quick slice that across right about here, and just get rid of the end verts. Okay, and we're going to need to adjust the height of this piece. So let's move it up in the left view, and we'll just tuck it right into the bottom piece here. So let's move that down so it's sitting inside that bottom. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that should work fine. So we'll just stretch the top verts up to match the height. All right, so grab the top ones there and just pull them right up. Okay, right inside the top piece. Okay, now it'll give us a kind of a piece that will cover the corner. All right, as you can see, it's a little bit faceted, so let's put some smoothing groups on the outside faces. Let's turn on our back facing here, and we'll just select these ones around the front. And we'll just add a smoothing group to these. So I'm just going to take these ones off here, and we'll just say put it on 10. Okay, that should smooth it out for us. Okay, so now we can start cloning this piece around. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is just center the pivot point again, and then we'll zero it out on the X, so it's in the center. Turn the button off there and we'll just mirror it over as another copy on the X. And just check to make sure that it lined up correctly. And we'll just trim the sides here to fit. Okay, so back to quick slice. Just cut it across and delete the end verts. Tuck that in there. And the same thing here with the side faces. Okay, so I think that should work fine. Let's grab both corner pieces here. Alright, and we'll just do another mirror as a copy on the Y. And let's pull these right down to the other corner. And we'll line it up the same way here. Okay, just like this. And then we'll just trim this one off on the sides. Okay, so reselect that piece and just quick slice it across and delete those extra verts. Okay, and same thing over here. And you can even just do this on one side and then flip this piece back over if you want to. But it only takes a couple of seconds to clean it up. Okay, so that'll pretty much give us the box on the back here. Okay, and just check to make sure that everything's lined up correctly and you don't have any pieces of the sides sticking through these end pieces. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. The next thing we'll do is start working on these doors, and they actually have quite a bit of detail on them, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get this closed up. Okay, so let's maybe just select all these pieces. We'll unhide all again. Let's invert the selection and hide select it. Okay, so let's go back into the front view. And let's actually get rid of maybe the other side of this back piece here. Let's hide this. Okay, just so we can see through here a little easier. And we'll just start working on one of these doors. The good thing about this is we can just make one and mirror it over, so we only really need to model half of this stuff. Alright, so let's start the door with maybe a plane. Okay, we'll just start up here and bring it down to about there. And don't worry about it too much, we can adjust it by vertex in a minute. Let's also get rid of these segments. And we'll convert it to editable poly. And apply our blue shader. And we'll just adjust the size here wherever it needs to be adjusted. Okay, so the top looks pretty good. We can move it up a little bit. Check out the bottom down here. Okay, I'm going to line up the left verts here. Pretty much right with this edge. That looks pretty good right where they're at, so we'll leave it like that. We want to have a slight gap in between the doors here, so we don't want this to be over right in the center. Let's push it back maybe slightly here, just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so let's maybe start by grabbing the polygon and let's do an inset on it. Okay, we'll take that up quite a bit here until we match what we have on the blueprint. Do about 11 or so. Okay, and let's also maybe just move this to the front here in the left view, or to the back, sorry. I'm just going to pull it out behind the opening there at the back. Okay, so now that we have that size, let's maybe just get rid of the blueprints for a second. Okay, let's go back to polygon, and with that poly there selected in the middle, we'll just extrude it in a little bit here. Let's do maybe -6.5. Okay, and we'll also go to border here and select the outer border and just shift drag that in a bit. All right, to give it a little bit of thickness. We'll bring that back a little bit farther than we did the extrusion. Okay, we're not going to be turbo smoothing most of these pieces either, so we can just pretty much chamfer the edges down on this. Alright, so let's grab a corner edge here, we'll do a ring and a loop, and we'll just chamfer that down. Let's do about 1.7 or so on that. Okay, we can just do a loop on this edge here, and we'll chamfer that one down as well. Let's tighten it up a little bit more. About 0.7 should be good. We'll do the same thing here on the inside edge. So just loop one of these ones and chamfer it. And let's also do the inner edge here as well. So with that polygon selected, control click edge and chamfer that down. And for this one, we'll tighten it up a little bit more. About 0.2, 0.3, something like that should be good. Okay, so pretty simple. Let's just figure out where we want to put the door. I'm going to push it back a little bit here. Let's actually do this in perspective. Okay, we'll just tuck it behind this outer corner edge here for now. You might need to adjust that a little bit later when we get the hinges in here. Alright, so let's just grab these pieces again, unhide all. And let's invert the selection and hide selected. Okay, so we have another piece down here that goes across the doors, and this is also pretty simple to make. So let's grab maybe another plane here, and we'll just draw this out over top. And I'm going to do it a little bit longer than we need, because I just make sure it's into both sides of the door. Apply our blue shader to it. And we'll just move that towards the back in the left view. Okay, so let's convert to double poly. Back into edge, grab two vertical edges, and we'll just connect that up. Let's do two segments, no pinch, no slide. And let's also add one at the top here. Alright, so I'm just going to do a connect there with one segment. And we'll just move that up a little bit by hand and kind of line it up with what we have on the blueprints there. We'll do the same thing at the bottom. Connect that and just move that down. Okay, and then we'll grab these two inner edges and just do a chamfer on them. Bring it up a little bit. About 1.7 or so should be good. And then we'll just extrude these pieces out to get a little bit more detail on there. Okay, let's just maybe even these top edges out a little bit more. I think this is a little too wide. Bring it down slightly. And we'll make this a little bit thinner as well. Okay, let's go to polygon here and select these 4 polys, and we'll just extrude these out. And we don't need to do a lot. Let's do around 3 or so should be good. And okay, and we can get rid of these end polygons here. We don't really need them. So let's go drag through these. Okay, just make sure you get both ends, and we'll delete those out. Okay, and let's go back to edge. We'll select the top back edge as well as the bottom back edge. And I'm just going to move these a little bit farther back. Okay, so that should be good. And we'll just push this whole piece right in. Okay, and just tuck it into the void there. Okay, and now we just need to chamfer some edges. So let's grab all the edges. We'll deselect the top back one and the bottom back one. And we'll just give these all a chamfer at the same time. Okay, so let's chamfer those down. And we'll tighten it up quite a bit here. We don't need it to be too rounded over. Let's do about 0.4 and okay. Okay, now I'm just going to apply a different color material here so we can see if that's actually pushed into the door. We want to make sure that it's actually sitting on the front. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, next thing we'll do here is start working on the hinges